Hey everyone, Eric here. I'm just getting my ducks in a row. Bear with me for just a moment on the live stream. All right, it's Friday afternoon, 2:27 p.m., and we're going to do some live coverage here from my home office. Ramel has things covered from our downtown studios this afternoon. We have some severe weather, as expected, unfolding across parts of eastern Ohio. There's not a lot of lightning and thunder with this. These are low-topped thunderstorms. These aren't reaching 50,000 feet in the sky, but these are low-top thunderstorms that are bringing down some strong winds from a few thousand feet up in the atmosphere. Now, over here, we have our traditional radar showing the rain, and above my head, these are the wind velocities being picked up by the radar a few thousand feet up. When we start seeing the yellow colors, that's generally indicative of winds of 60 miles per hour or more. And again, the radar beam is sampling those, not at the ground level, but upstairs a few thousand feet. But these showers can bring down those winds from a few thousand feet above our heads. We currently have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out for our television viewing area. One covers the northern, roughly 1/3 of Trumbull County. That's this one up here. The other covers parts of southwestern Mahoning County, including the Sebring and Beloit areas, just up to about Canfield. Those are the two active warnings. And let me see when these warnings are in effect until. I'm just kind of, like I said, kind of getting my ducks in a row here. Let's see. The Mahoning warning is until 1 o'clock for southwestern Mahoning. The one for northern Trumbull also is until 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's the expiration times on these warnings. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, and wind is by far and away the main threat with these. We've had a breezy day so far, but there's lots and lots of wind energy in the atmosphere that can be transferred down to the surface with these kind of low-topped showers. And you'll notice, I've got the lightning plotted up here, but we're not really seeing much. There's hardly any lightning with this. There might be some at some point, but there's not very many lightning strikes. This is not like your classic late spring and summertime storms that get 50,000 feet in the air and produce a lot of lightning, maybe some hail. This is not that. This is just low-topped showers that are tapping into a lot of wind energy at about 3,000-4,000 feet above our heads. Broader view of things this afternoon. As you can see, the warnings for our region are the only severe thunderstorm warnings that are out right now. This morning's rain has shifted into central and west central PA. We have no watches out. There are no severe thunderstorm watches, but we do have a handful of warnings in these orange boxes. This is a cold front that is heading our way. Let me actually just show you real quickly the temperatures on the other side of this front. Already in northwest Ohio, temperatures are dropping down into the 40s. That is what is going to happen here as we go through the second half of the afternoon today. This is a big time front, and it's a strong front that has a lot of cold air behind it. And the difference in the air masses here, just enough to cause enough uplift in the atmosphere to get these showers and thunderstorms going. So we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll probably have a few more before the next hour or two is through. But the good news is this is not going to last all that long in any one location. These are moving quickly, and I kind of suspect this will come and go fairly quickly over the next hour or two. And by about 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30 at the latest in the far southern and eastern parts of our TV viewing area, at the latest, 3:30 probably is when we should just about be done with this stuff. And then the rest of the day will be quite a bit colder, but quite a bit calmer, and that should continue into the weekend. I'm going to hop off camera here for just a second and let the radar loop and make sure everything's good on my live stream. Looks like we are good. Everybody can hear me just fine. That is good. All right. All right, we have a new warning out until 1:15 now. 1:15 new warning. So let's take a look at that. Hasn't shown up graphically yet, but it's probably going to be for the rest of Mahoning. It'll pop in graphically here in just a moment. Yeah, we can see it on this source. So that's the new warning box covering the northern half of Mahoning and the rest of Trumbull. So now all of Trumbull County in a severe thunderstorm warning. The northern 1/3 until 1 o'clock. The rest of the county from here on south, roughly Cortland on south, this warning is in effect until 1:15 this afternoon. All right, so whenever I'm doing live streaming coverage of severe weather, and this is kind of the first time in a while, a lot of the comment section is, "What about this town? What about this town? What about this town? What about this town?" Just pay attention to what I'm saying. I'll rattle off as many towns as I can, but everyone's kind of in the same boat this afternoon. Everyone has the threat of a fairly brief but intense period of strong winds with this line of showers coming through. Whether you're watching from anywhere in Trumbull County, anywhere in Mahoning County, Columbiana County, you probably have to wait just a little bit longer. Same idea over in Mercer and Lawrence counties. This is not an imminent threat in the next 10 or 15 minutes in Mercer County or Lawrence County, but this is an imminent issue in places such as Craig Beach, Sebring, Beloit, in the next 15 minutes or so in Austintown, and certainly this is rolling through Newton Falls right now. And the Warren area in Niles, you're next. You're getting some gusty showers right now with some heavier rain just off to your west. And again, for those just joining us, the colors above my head here, the reds and yellows, this is the wind velocity data being picked up by the Cleveland National Weather Service radar. Now, we're getting pretty far from the Cleveland radar here, so this is a few thousand feet above our heads, but these showers can pull down that wind energy. And when you start seeing the yellow colors, it may be a little hard to read, but the color legend is right here. This is up to 60 miles per hour or so being sampled off the radar. We've been telling you about this for the last couple of days, that wind is by far and away the big threat with any severe weather today. These are not big hail producers, aside from maybe pea-sized at the most. Thankfully, our tornado risk appears to be extremely minimal. It's probably just a little above zero, but not far above zero. This is mostly just a wind issue. But I'll tell you, when it comes to the potential for 55 or 60 or 65 mile per hour winds, your property does not care if that 65 mile per hour wind came from just a plain old wind gust from a thunderstorm or a tornado. Wind is wind, and a 65 mile per hour wind, whether it be from a very low end EF0 tornado or a downburst or straight line winds from a regular thunderstorm, it can do pretty much the same thing. You don't have to have a tornado to cause a lot of problems when it comes to wind. So yeah, when we're getting these yellow colors, we don't like to see that. That's indicative of some very, very strong winds being pulled down by these showers. This is moving through Lordstown, Craig Beach right now, Austintown in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Canfield coming your way probably about 12:45. This is bearing down on Greenford and eventually Youngstown, Struthers, Pole, and Boardman as we get closer to 1 o'clock, probably between 12:45 and 1 p.m. In the northern part of Trumbull County, heavy showers with gusty winds moving through North Bloomfield along 45. This is rolling right towards Gustavus and Kinsman. And Route 11 getting smacked right now with some wind and some heavy rain. If you're watching from Mercer County, you got a little time to get ready for this. No warnings as of yet, but surely you'll be put under a severe thunderstorm warning at some point in Mercer County and Lawrence County. It was a rough night and a rough morning down in Columbiana County, where we had some very heavy rain and even some lightning in spots this morning from East Palestine on south. You're getting a break right now, and you'll be waiting a little bit for this main line to come through. It'll maybe be closer to 2 o'clock or so before this impacts places such as Salineville and Rogers and Elk Run and East Palestine and down towards East Liverpool as well. Right now, the most imminent issues are with this line that's moving through western Mahoning County, western and central parts of Trumbull County, and also there is a band up in northern parts of Trumbull County as we speak. And just to recap for those popping in and out, we have some severe thunderstorm warnings out, mostly into the early 1 o'clock hour. 1:15 is the expiration time on the warning that's in effect for a lot of Mahoning and Trumbull counties. It expires at 1 in southwestern Mahoning and in northern parts of Trumbull County. So we got a little ways to go on this. This is moving fairly quickly. That is some good news. In any one location, the worst of the weather will probably last 15 to 20 minutes, and then you'll be done. It'll stay blustery, and you're going to notice a big-time temperature change coming our way in the next few hours. That is for sure. Broader view of things. Here's our line moving through, and I'll kind of put this in motion. It is warm. It's even a little muggy outside this afternoon. Air temperatures are around 68 to 69 degrees in a lot of places. Even dew points. Not often we talk about dew points in March, but dew points are in the lower 60s. There's some juice for these storms to feed off of. And I say storms, even though these technically are mostly just showers. There's not a lot of lightning with these storms. When you get showers that are not very high in the sky, you don't get as much friction within the cloud. You don't have a lot of ice crystals bumping into each other and causing the friction and static electricity that leads to lightning. When these storms get up to 50, 60,000 feet, you got a lot of ice up there in the clouds, and that leads to a lot of lightning. When things don't get that high in the sky, it's a little tougher for lightning to get going. So even though these are severe thunderstorm warnings, the term thunderstorm this afternoon is technically mostly not correct because there's not a lot of thunder and lightning. There can be some, but not a whole lot. All right, let me make sure yeah, it looks like my stream is okay. Someone mentioned on Twitter that Facebook, they were having trouble loading the stream on Facebook. I think we're okay. Yeah, it seems like it. Let's go back to my close-in radar source here. Showers moving into Austintown right now, moving through Warren. This is a healthy downpour with a strong wind gust in the Warren area, Champion, Howland, heading down towards Niles. Newton Falls, you're pretty much getting out of the woods right now. Southington as well. But this is bearing down on Austintown and Canfield as we speak. Sebring, Beloit, most of the heavy actions just north of you and west of you right now. The stuff that's moving through Hartville and into North Canton right now is probably more aimed towards southwestern Mahoning County, while this kind of initial edge right over here is mostly a miss for the far southern part of Mahoning County and down towards Salem, Latonia, Washingtonville, and Columbiana as well. Wind is by far and away, the big threat here with our showers this afternoon. Again, you'll notice there's kind of a lack of lightning with these. And if you're, sticking with me for the long haul here, I'll get a little bit repetitive, but that's the nature of severe weather coverage. A lot of people are just kind of hopping in and out. If you're watching from anywhere, any location in Mercer County in PA or Lawrence County in PA, this is coming your way, but it's going to take another 15-20 minutes to reach a lot of the western half of Mercer County. You got until closer to 1 o'clock to get ready for this, and maybe even closer to 1:15 to 1:30 once you're over towards I-79, over towards Grove City, over towards Mercer, Stoneboro, and out to the east along I-80. It's going to take a little while for these to move in to those locations. We have more heavy storms, I'm in the habit of saying storms when I'm covering severe weather. Again, technically, mostly heavy showers. Moving through parts of northern Stark County right now, southern Portage County, and back towards the Worcester area. A lot of this stuff will be cruising into our southern viewing area here as we head into the 1 o'clock hour. So from Hanoverton to Guilford Lake to Lisbon to Salineville, Summitville, East Liverpool, and up towards East Palestine. You're missing kind of the northern edge of the first round, but this next round back here is what's heading your way. Got kind of a split radar view. What's above my head, the wind velocity data off the Cleveland National Weather Service radar. The more you get towards the yellow colors, the stronger the winds are. And when we start seeing those yellows, the radar's picking up on winds perhaps up to 60 miles per hour, a few thousand feet above our heads. We're getting so far away from the Cleveland radar now that because of the curvature of the Earth, the radar beam gains in elevation as it moves away from the radar source. So by the time it's over Trumbull and Mahoning counties, it's a few thousand feet up, even 4,000 or 5,000 feet up. So we can't really sample ground winds this far from the radar, but it can be fairly representative of what's going on at the ground because these showers can pull down, the momentum from these showers can pull down the wind energy that's being sampled by the radar up at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 feet. So that's just, it's kind of life between two radars here in the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. We're roughly halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland in general, and then for the sake of severe weather coverage and radar coverage, we're about halfway between our main radar sources here across our area. All right, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning out until 1:15 for a good chunk of Trumbull and northern Mahoning counties. It expires at 1 in the far northern part of Trumbull up towards Kinsman and over towards Mesopotamia. Southwestern Mahoning, your expiration time is at 1. They may extend that based on what's going on to your west. No warnings as of yet, Columbiana County, Mercer, and Lawrence, but that will surely change over the next half an hour. So you're watching severe weather coverage from the home office with the state of things due to coronavirus. You may see a lot more of me from the home office as opposed to the studio in the coming weeks and months. We're going to keep doing newscasts, of course, and provide you with the most important and in-depth information on the health concerns, but also the weather concerns. But as much as we can do from home and in isolation, that's what we're going to do. Thankfully, I've got a pretty nice setup here at home. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I posted some pictures of my home office setup this morning. Can't do everything I can do on TV, that is for sure. I don't have a green wall here. But I can certainly do some Facebook Lives and some YouTube Lives and recorded videos and that sort of thing from my home setup. All right, so we're on Facebook and Twitter this afternoon because of severe thunderstorm warnings that are out for parts of our viewing area. All of Trumbull County under a severe thunderstorm warning, and a good chunk of Mahoning County as well. Eventually, you'll probably be put under a warning here in Columbiana County, Mercer, and Lawrence counties as well. Yesterday, I was talking about the possibility of a real low-end tornado threat with these showers this afternoon. That threat has not been reduced to zero, but it's just above zero. This is mostly just a plain old wind threat for our region. The tornado threat a little bit higher once you're east of I-79 over into central PA, closer to DuBois, Clearfield, State College, Altoona, Johnstown. For us, it can't 100% be ruled out that a little spin-up tries to occur within this band, but it's a very low-end chance. Much higher chance of just wind causing problems this afternoon, gusting in these showers as high as 50 to 60 miles per hour as a possibility for the next hour or two. Scott says the sun is sort of out here in Salem at 12:40, and yeah, the sun tried to peek out in a lot of places before this line got set to move through. And a few other comments. Thanks to everyone for being my eyes and ears. As always, I rely on you guys. We've got all this fancy equipment and radars and technology, but social media is a real asset to me in severe weather coverage. You guys can tell me what's going on the ground. Finally starting to see a little lightning showing up over in Stark County around Canton. There's a lightning strike right there. Lightning is going to be pretty sparse this afternoon. As I've been mentioning a few times, these are not your classic late spring and summer thunderstorms that get up to 50,000 feet in the sky, and you get a lot of ice crystals bumping into each other and a lot of friction and a lot of lightning. These are low-topped showers, only getting up to maybe 20,000 feet or so you don't get as much lightning with these. But they can be impactful and dangerous because they are bringing down some strong winds. Anything loose outside, if you're not in this band yet, but you're about to be, if you got anything loose outside, go bring it in, secure it right now, because the potential is there for some very strong winds to roll on through as we go into the last quarter of the 12 o'clock hour and into the 1 o'clock hour as well. I'm going to step off camera for just a moment, leave the radar up for you as I check in, make sure our crawl is running on TV. I'll be right back. All right, looks like we were all good on the TV side when these warnings first came out. Our crawl did not want to spring into action for some reason, but looks like we are in good shape right now. Let's zoom in to our area. I'm going to stop the loop on the radar. So we're getting a heavy shower right now in Austintown and heading up towards Liberty, Girard. This is moving into downtown Youngstown very soon. Moving to Canfield as we speak. Cornersburg as well. You're out of the woods at this point in Lordstown and Craig Beach and Warren, Newton Falls as well. But this is bearing down on the heart of the 224 corridor from Canfield to Poland and Boardman, Struthers and Camel as well. Up towards Hubbard, the skies are darkening, showers are pushing in. And then once you're up towards the state line, we're getting some light rain coming over into Hermitage right now. Sharpsville, Sharon, West Middlesex. The worst of the wind is with this stuff right here coming into your area in the next 10 minutes or so. And the National Weather Service out of Pittsburgh will probably issue a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Lawrence and Mercer counties here very, very soon. I'm probably actually going to switch radar sources here over to the Pittsburgh radar as we're getting very far away from the Cleveland radar now. So let's do that. And so as this data comes in, you're actually going to see the radar velocity colors change above my head from reds and yellows more towards blues and greens, because now we're switching to the Pittsburgh radar, which means the activity is coming towards the radar, and wind coming towards the radar shows up in the greens and the blues. Wind blowing away from the radar shows up in the opposite, in those reds and yellows. So the data is going to take a second to load here. Here we go. All right, so now the strongest winds are delineated by the brighter green colors and more towards the teal end of things. Some strong winds certainly moving through parts of Trumbull and Mahoning counties back towards northern, or I should say southern Portage, northern Stark County right now. And still some hefty showers and gusty winds up into the northern reaches of Trumbull County from Kinsman and Gustavus on west over towards the Geauga County border. Ray says the wind is starting in Cornersburg, and Bruce says 12:45 it started raining in Canfield, right on the money. Maureen says she can hear it in Ellsworth, and the wind is starting to pick up in southwest Hermitage, says Shirley. Again, thanks to everyone on Facebook for the comments. Really, really appreciate that. You can also watch this on YouTube. If you search for me on YouTube, we're doing live streaming coverage on YouTube. I link to that through my Twitter account. If you're on Twitter, I know more people are on Facebook, but I like Twitter a lot better. And if you're on Twitter, Eric WFMJ is where you can find me on Twitter as well as Instagram. We have a 1 o'clock expiration time on our severe thunderstorm warning for a good chunk of Trumbull County, and this comes down into northern Mahoning County. It expires at 1:15, or I should say 1 o'clock. 1:15 up here. It's 1 o'clock in southwestern Mahoning and also northern parts of Trumbull. 1 o'clock, the expiration time there. But we're going to get some new warnings, almost no doubt, here in western PA, probably very, very soon. Keeping an eye on the National Weather Service chat room, kind of our pipeline into the National Weather Service offices in Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Whenever a product is issued, a warning, that'll be the first place that we see it. It's where we can keep tabs on things, keep in touch with National Weather Service meteorologists and emergency managers and other people, media people who are in that chat room. It's a great resource for broadcast meteorologists at all times of the year, but especially in severe weather. All right, the Weather Service has hacked away at the warning now, taking some areas out of the warning in far northwestern Mahoning and parts of Trumbull. So the area I'm circling right here, now you're no longer in that warning polygon. So from Craig Beach up towards Newton Falls, Southington, over towards Warren and up into the Cortland area, you are no longer in the warning in those spots. Still are in northern Trumbull, the southeastern part of Trumbull, northern parts of Mahoning as well. But the Weather Service is hacking away at this polygon, this warning polygon. And just as a reminder, as we get into severe weather season, back in the older days, the National Weather Service issued warnings by entire counties. Even though the entire county may not be in danger or under a threat, the warning was issued by county. Now the National Weather Service issues warnings on a polygon system, so they draw these polygons to get more specific on where the threat is. That's why you see these weird shapes. You know, it can sometimes look like a trapezoid. It can sometimes look like a rectangle. Sometimes it is a little sliver. It's just a more specific way of warning people and then taking people out of the warning that are no longer under any weather threat. So that's why you see this kind of weird shape now. This area is not under a warning anymore. From Warren and Cortland on west, no longer in the warning. You are still in the warning until 1:15 in Youngstown and Boardman and Canfield and Campbell and Struthers and Hubbard. And The warning extends until 1 o'clock down towards Sebring, Beloit, and across the county line over into Alliance and into the Canton area as well. You'll notice again distinct lack of lightning with this. There could be some lightning and thunder in an isolated sense this afternoon, but these are not classic springtime, summertime severe thunderstorms with booming thunder and very vivid lightning. It's not that sort of a setup. But there's a lot of wind energy. It's what we call a low-level jet stream this afternoon. It's a river of fast-moving air in the low levels of the atmosphere, not up where the airplanes fly at 30,000 feet, but more so down towards 5,000 feet, not that far above our heads. The winds are screaming at 60 to 80 miles per hour at 5,000 feet above our heads. And so these things don't have to get very high in the sky, these showers, to get up to that level and start bringing down some of that wind energy. And we've been advertising this for a couple of days, that wind would be a story today, in addition to the warmth, in addition to the big temperature plunge that's coming later on today. And speaking of that temperature plunge, I'll kind of zoom out here, and for those who did not see this earlier, boy, it's going to feel a lot different in a couple of hours. These numbers that are populating here, and I'll actually make these bigger. These are the temperatures. We're still in the 60s locally, but it's already in the 50s in Sandusky. It's in the 40s back towards Toledo and heading up towards the Michigan border, the Indiana border. That's our ghost of Christmas future around here. That's what's coming our way. Second half of the afternoon today. A big time cold front. We're going to go from the upper 60s. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the mid-20s. So we're going to lose 40 plus degrees off our temperatures just in the next 15, 16 hours. It's going to be a big time change. That is for sure. Again, a little bit repetitive if you've been watching for a while, but I'll emphasize that while the tornado risk, the isolated tornado risk with this cluster of showers is very, very low. It's not quite zero. We don't want to rule out a spin-up embedded in this, but it is low. It's very low. It's just something I'm going to mention because the chance is not zero, but it's just above zero. It gets a little higher once you're east of I-79. As this line encounters a little more of a favorable environment for some rotation, you're going to be primarily east of I-79, east of Pittsburgh, east of Mercer, and more towards Du Bois, Clearfield, Bellefonte State College, Williamsport, down towards Altoona and Johnstown. Even there, the chances of a spin-up tornado are not crazy high, but they're a little higher than they are around here. For us, this is mostly just a plain old wind threat, and these winds could be serious as they move through. 50, 60 mile per hour gusts are going to be a possibility as this kind of broken line, oops, didn't mean to do that, moves through. Now, I live in Boardman, and yeah, we're getting heavy showers, and I can hear the wind picking up. It doesn't look crazy out there at the moment in the Boardman area, specifically where I am. But in Youngstown, DeCamel, Boardman, Canfield, Cornersburg, you are getting a doozy of a shower right now. Getting on the back edge of this, back towards Austintown, kind of out of the woods for the time being in Austintown, and up towards McDonald's, Mineral Ridge, and in Niles as well. From the YSU campus, down through the south side of Youngstown, down into Boardman, over into Cornersburg, and around Mill Creek Park, and back towards Canfield, yeah, we're getting some heavy showers moving through right now with some strong winds. When you see these kind of brighter greens, almost a teal color, those are pockets of the heavier wind being sampled by the radar. Yeah, we're getting a big-time downpour outside of my place here in Boardman right now. I don't hear any thunder. I can see the trees moving. It doesn't look like we're getting a crazy gust, but it is certainly gusty. It looks like maybe I'm getting mist just to the north by the strongest of the wind. There we go. There's the wind. Boy, I spoke too soon on that. You may be able to hear that being picked up by the microphone. I'm getting a pretty ferocious wind gust out there in the Boardman area. I live kind of in the heart of Boardman, and yeah, now we're getting some strong winds and blinding rains. And boy, as soon as I said maybe we're getting mist just to the north, nope, we got a pretty good gust right there. And that may be this little pocket of wind right there, moving through the 224 corridor endpoints north. Yeah, it's blowing now, that is for sure. That serves me right for opening my mouth and saying, well, maybe I'm getting missed. Not so much. All right, we have no warning out in Mercer County. The Weather Service opted to not issue a severe thunderstorm warning yet for Mercer County, but certainly conditions are deteriorating, or have deteriorated, from Sharon and Hermitage back through Farrell, down towards West Middlesex, up towards Sharpsville as well. If you're watching from Lawrence County, you've got a little bit of time to get ready for this in Newcastle. The sky is no doubt darkening in New Wilmington. Back into Mahoning County, in the southeastern part of Mahoning County, around New Middletown, a lot of this initial action missing you to the north, but keep an eye on what's going on to the west back towards Alliance. And down in Columbiana County, most of the early action missing you to the north right now, but we have warned showers and a little bit of thunder and lightning back towards Canton, Alliance, and all the way back to Worcester. This will be the stuff that's a little more aimed towards our southern viewing area, towards Columbiana County, as we head into the 1 and even parts of the 2 o'clock hours this afternoon. All right, so the Weather Service has discontinued the warning for northern Trumbull. So the only part of Trumbull now that is still under a warning is the southeastern part of Trumbull. And even in Hubbard, I'll tell you, Hubbard up to Yankee Lake, you're pretty much out of the woods. The worst of the wind and rain is pushed just to your south and east. And so you'll be shaved out of that warning here before too much longer. The rest of Trumbull County is no longer under a warning. From Austintown on west in Mahoning County, you're not under a warning anymore. Still under a warning for a handful of minutes in Sebring, Beloit, because we're getting some heavy rain and some wind coming across the county line from Alliance over into southwestern Mahoning County along 14, along 62 as well. But yeah, the Weather Service opted not to continue warnings for the time being in western PA. We'll see if that changes here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Sandy says it's raining in Hermitage right now. Wind is crazy now in Hartford, says Leah. Thank you for that. If you're seeing sunshine down in the southern part of Columbiana County, that will not last much longer. We've got storms and showers and wind and rain coming your way. It's still blowing like crazy outside of my place here in Boardman. This is driving the rain into my windows, and it is loud. Doubt we're seeing a severe wind gust out of this, but a pretty strong one. And blinding sheets of rain in Boardman right now at my place. And I'm kind of, again, in kind of the heart of Boardman. So we're seeing this in Boardman and Struthers and Poland and up towards Camel. And up into the northeastern part of Mahoning County as well. And across the state line into West Middlesex. Just east of Farrell, around the Hermitage area right now, along 62. We're getting just creamed right now with some wind and some rain. Very little, if any, thunder and lightning out there for the time being. Marissa says it's cleared up in Niles. Yeah, we're out of the woods, it looks like, from Niles on north and west. Jennifer says getting darker in New Middletown. Bad winds in Boardman and North Lima, says Wendy. And yeah, we're seeing that certainly from my perspective here in Boardman, although just like that, the wind is starting to diminish as the worst of this pushes just to my east now in the Boardman area. So Poland is getting smacked right now, Struthers as well. And this radar image is now a couple minutes old. So in Boardman, this is starting to let up from west to east across the area. And we're going to give you the all clear as far as severe weather goes this afternoon in Warren, in Niles, and Newton Falls, and Champion, and Southington, and Cortland. You are done with the threat for severe weather this afternoon. It's going to be blustery, and it's going to be turning colder, but the threat for wind damage and severe wind, it looks like it is done for the time being. And the Weather Service has expired that severe thunderstorm warning that covered the southwestern part of Mahoning County, a lot of Stark County, and back towards Worcester as well. So the only warning polygon that is now active as of right on the top of the hour, 1 o'clock, is for northeastern Mahoning County and southeastern Trumbull. And I think in southeastern Trumbull, you're pretty much out of the woods. Parts of the polygon in Mahoning are still seeing pretty nasty weather right now from Poland and Struthers and Camel on north and east on 422, east of Youngstown. But it's going to take just a couple of minutes for you to be in the clear in those locations. So I'm going to keep the stream active for a handful of minutes to make sure we don't have any new warnings. And then I will book it downtown and start my workday in the real office. Ramel Carpenter is keeping things going down there for the time being, but I'll relieve him here before too much longer. Once it looks like it's okay for me to step away for a few minutes and get in the car and make that 10-minute drive or 15-minute drive downtown towards our downtown studio. So you're watching me from my home office this afternoon, where we're covering some early season severe weather, not your traditional maybe severe weather that features hail and lightning and thunder and real vicious weather as far as the way it sounds. This is just a very gusty band of showers pushing through, and we don't want to diminish it and say it's just a gusty band of showers. This can be locally enough to cause some minor problems. The ground very, very wet as a result of the rain that we had Wednesday night, again, late yesterday and last night, and even this morning we had downpours in central and southern Columbiana County, where there were some flood warnings out earlier on today. And so with the ground getting that much water in it and this kind of wind coming in, any weak trees that don't have a good root system, that aren't real firmly anchored into the ground, they will be susceptible to perhaps trying to come down or at least tilting over a little bit in this kind of a situation as these wind gusts push through. Our saving grace this afternoon is that these are moving pretty fast. So in any one location, the worst of the weather is not going to last long. Here at my place in Boardman, I had about 6-7 minutes of pretty nasty wind and rain, and now things are calming down fairly quickly. So this is not something that's going to last for hours and hours. This is not the type of situation that we had late last spring, early last summer, where we had thunderstorms just parked over parts of the area, including Boardman, for a couple of hours, and it just didn't move, and you wrung out 2 or 3 inches of rain in a couple of hours. This is not that. This stuff is moving along, and it's going to do its dirty work and then keep on moving. Now, the wind is not going to go dead calm once these move through your location. It's going to stay blustery for the rest of the afternoon, and it's going to turn colder, and it's going to be a huge, huge change coming our way before the afternoon is through. We're going to see temperatures diving out of the 60s, diving through the 50s, and especially towards sunset, we'll see temperatures diving through the 40s and into the 30s, and eventually into the 20s overnight tonight. Tyler asking, expect this to hold together into Western PA. It's already kind of holding together, even though we have no active warnings in Western PA. In Mercer and Lawrence counties, we're still getting a pretty good band of showers with some gusts of wind here in parts of Mercer and Lawrence counties. Weather Service has just issued a flood warning for parts of Columbiana County. See if that pops up here graphically. Should at least populate my social media here within a couple of minutes. Yeah, Columbiana County's been hit hard, and this is not what we want to see this afternoon. Another band of heavy rain pushing through, but again, thankfully it's not going to last that long. But we've had locally a couple or even a few inches worth of rain over the last 24 to 48 hours in parts of Columbiana County. It really poured last night in Lisbon and East Liverpool and East Palestine and places, especially in southern and central parts of Columbiana County last night. So with more rain pushing in, the Weather Service is hoisting a flood warning for parts of Columbiana County. So keep that in mind. In the meantime, our severe thunderstorm warnings are now all expired. So we are no longer under any severe thunderstorm warnings. This gusty band of showers continues to make some progress, and it's going to remain fairly blustery. It's going to turn colder this afternoon, but it looks like the threat for damaging winds, the kind of winds that can really cause a lot of problems, that appears to be lowering as we speak. Stay weather aware. That's the word I'm looking for the next half an hour or so, especially in Western PA and in Columbiana County, through the 1 o'clock hour, even into parts of 2 o'clock hour, in case these perk up again and look like they may warrant severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm going to run downtown into our studios. I'll have more updates on social media and on the Storm Tracker 21 app as conditions warrant this afternoon. Thank you for watching, everyone.